Hey guys, what is up? How are you two nose holders there?
You weren't fast enough. You had your finger on a different button other than the one on your face.
There we go.
There we go. Yes, right. Wow, it's been a while since we've done this for a little bit because life has been crazy, right?
Yes, it has.
That puts it mildly.
Well, let's see. Angela's had some surgery and you moved your store.
In like 3 days. I mean,
Yeah.
who does that?
Yeah. Big move. Unplanned as well. It's not even like I know it's coming.
Right.
I wasn't planning on going anywhere.
Right. And we've had a blow up on the not so good side, meaning some employees being a little bit on the sick side and some things like that. So Jake and I've had to be taking up a little bit of some slack here. So it's been taken away from the whole us getting together and doing our thing.
Yeah.
So why don't we use that as an opportunity and talk about how we are going to collectively get back together and get in the groove, and how I would get back, or we would get back to the groove quilting, because that's the other thing that has been a little bit lacking on my side as well.
I haven't been able to quilt.
I can't even say it's the last thing on my list because hasn't even been on the list. Well, for a long time, but it's just like, just get through each day. One foot in front of the other, just get through each day. Right.
Yeah.
But
business wise, I mean, as somebody who's a long armor in your basement and you go on vacation or you have something big happen in your life, how would you plan, like Angela, how did you plan for your absence from your business while you had something major?
Yeah, well, I did have the luxury to plan in advance because I knew I was going to have the surgery and I knew I would not be on my feet, right? Because still not on my feet, still in a cast right now as of filming, right? So like I knew I would not be able to go into my showroom. I can't even really get out of my house. It's a long involved story, but somebody has to help me get out of the house because there's steps. And I am completely non-weight bearing on my left foot. So that means I'm using one foot and a walker, or I have a scooter and crutches, right? So long-term, I knew about how long I was going to be down. So I was going to be down for somewhere, they said 6 to 8 weeks, non-weight bearing. So I had to cross my entire schedule off for 6 to 8 weeks. And the first 2 weeks, I couldn't take calls because I was in pain, right? So didn't even want to get on FaceTime with people because like just in complete pain and not wanting to talk to people, right? So I went from
rightly so.
And I'm doing great now. It was the right decision to have the surgery. Doing great now. But so I had to actually look at a calendar and plan when I was going to come start, working part-time and when I was going to go back to full-time, hopefully. And I'm not back at full-time yet because still can't walk. So hopefully that's going to happen next week.
Yay.
We'll find out. Yeah, woohoo. Keep you posted on that one. But I am somebody that lives by my schedule and lives by my calendar. So I literally sat down with a printed out calendar and started knocking days off of it. I'm not going to be working on these days, looking at what I have to get done before, landmark dates. So like big landmark dates in my life are my husband's birthday in September, right? And then going into business stuff would be Houston market, Thanksgiving, because I always try to go back to Houston for Thanksgiving because that's where my family lives. And plus we have a cruise leaving out of Galveston right after that. So trying to, wiggle stuff in to the days that I have left. But I have, to-do list and list on the calendar already for mid-August and have since June, since before my surgery. I have to do that. I have to have a plan and have a list ahead of me. Will I do what I have scheduled to do on, say, the 14th of August? Probably not, but at least I have a list so that I can then start building my to-do list again. I tend to have a rolling to-do list, and I did get pretty much everything off of my to-do list before my surgery started because I actually delayed my surgery for the Quilt Path release because I felt like I needed to be there to support customers. So I was supposed to have my surgery in May, delayed it until June because I found out the release was happening in May
Right.
instead of the release happening after I was out of recovery, right?
Right.
So that's a personal decision APQS did not ask me to make, but that I felt like was important, right? So I got everything I could off of my calendar beforehand. I had that luxury though. You don't always have that luxury because it could be, I mean, you could be in a car accident tomorrow, right? No, well, no, I mean, you have to have a plan though, right?
I know, but don't say those things out loud.
I don't want to be in a car accident. But I could, yeah. So something simple could happen, like you could need to have your machine repaired,
Right.
right? There's lots of things that can happen that can put you into that. Now, I've had enough things happen over my career that I have a plan in place, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because I've had to have emergency surgery way back when I was working out of my basement. And I was down for 6 weeks with that one too, right? So I knew what I wasn't going to be doing in that 6 weeks. But try to sit down and think about what you do and put some pre-planning into it. It makes coming back easier, right? If you have that luxury. Tracy didn't have that luxury because Tracy, the whole movement thing happened. Like it was like 1 minute she's like, I don't know what I'm doing. Like this is like Tuesday. Yeah. Thursday, she's like, I just signed a new lease and I'm moving this weekend. And I'm like that idea, Tracy, that would have completely freaked me out. I don't know how you did it and kept your cool, girl. Completely.
Well, I didn't keep my cool.
Truth be told,
I hid that from everybody.
Good job.
The post I was putting on Facebook was woo, woo, woo.
I call that.
Just get it in the trailer. Just get it in the trailer. Just get it in the trailer. Go, 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 go.
Yeah.
I had put on my website. I teach. Well, I can say I teach. Now I used to teach a 2-day freehand boot camp. Yeah. And I didn't do it very often because it's a huge class, and I haven't taught it for 4 years. And I've had people ask, and then I had one customer in particular say, I know you've had a lot in the last several years. Everybody's had the pandemic, but then there's been a lot of personal tragedies and crises and stuff. Anyway, she said, please teach this class. I thought, okay, this is the universe saying, pull up your bootstraps, get back to doing something that you really love to do. Just do it. So I put it up on my website for July, not knowing I was moving
in June.
So I had put it up for July and August because as soon as I put it up in July, it filled up like that. It was not even 1 day, and it was full, which humbled me to no end and took me aback. I actually cried. I thought, oh, people really do. They remember who I am. Like they care. Somebody wants to take a class from me.
Right.
Because, you guys know my confidence has been a little in the dumpster fire for a long time. Anyway, I put those 2 classes and then decided to move. And I had literal days to get out of the other unit. And this was not planned. My lease at the other unit was not up until the end of September. I had 0 thoughts, inklings about moving in the middle of the summer. I had a big motorcycle trip I was going to go on. And, I had all these things to do and whatever. Anyway, so that derailed the whole thing. So I had to get out of the old unit and into here. I had just a few days to do that. So officially I was here as of July 1st. July 3rd, 4th, or 5th, I realized that all of my handouts that I had used for my boot camp class were gone. All my files were gone. They were on a computer that died in the last few years. I couldn't find any backup discs. So while I was moving and trying to set up the shop and enough to make it functional, I was also spending at least 8 hours a day redrawing and rewriting all my handouts for that class. And there's probably 200 pages worth of handouts in that class.
Yeah. Her handouts are incredible. incredible, guys. You need to take a class with Tracy.
So I got to that point where I was actually like putting a timer on. It's like, okay, I start at 7 a.m. and I will draw and write class handouts till 1. And then from 1 till whatever, I'll move furniture and set up machines. And then from 7 to 10, I'd go back to the handouts. And of course, in the middle of that, I decided to get a new program, a graphics program, instead of drawing everything by hand like I did. So I was trying to learn this program at the same time because, why not?
Right. Why not? Exactly. We're entrepreneurs. Why not?
Why not learn all that at the same time and then my printer died. I have a wide format printer and the print head went. I've used it 6 times in 3 years that I've had it. And the printer went. So I ordered a very expensive new print head, put that in. It doesn't work either. So then I had to buy 2 new printers so that I could print out all my handouts, the sizes I need.
Yes.
So yeah. So now the class happened. It was amazing. The students I had gave me back something that had been gone for a long time. Not going to get emotional. They made me feel so good and I made them feel so good. And it was fabulous.
Good.
It was fabulous. So yeah. So now I'm teaching it in August, September, and October.
Awesome.
1 session each. And I can't wait. I love that. I've forgotten how much I love teaching until about an hour into the first morning. Once I got past my handouts aren't going to be ready. My printer's broken. I got to get a new printer. I'm just flying money's going out the door to buy all these things to just to make this 2-day class happen.
Right.
And within an hour into class, it was just like, I just felt like I'd come home.
Good.
I know that sounds stupid, but it's like, it's okay. It was all worth it. For this moment, it was all worth it.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So the shop is still a write-off. It is functional as long as you don't go past that white door back there.
But there's a door.
We all have a door. Or
There's
maybe
a door.
Always a door.
And it hides 500 square feet of what I can only classify as pure chaos and mayhem. And I don't care because it looks nice out here. I got to get the quilts on the wall and do all, put that stuff, and the product still has to go up on the walls, but the shop is functional. The customers are coming back to rent the time on the machines, and I'm teaching and doing road shows. So as chaotic as it all is, or was, it was worth it.
Good.
It was all worth it in the end.
So if I'm understanding your method correctly, it's just kind of ride the wave, right? And externally make everyone think that you've got it under control.
I call that faking it well.
Faking it well, which is a great skill to have.
And the Oscar goes to me.
Tracy.
What is that?
Everybody always is like,
Mr. DeMille, I'm ready for my close-up.
yes, I know. Everybody's like, gosh, you must be so organized. I'm like, no.
Oh, I don't know. One hand to my left foot. I'm in a constant state of.
Yes.
But I think that people think you're organized because you're making a list. And to me, it's another way to have chaos too,
Right.
in a way, right? So yes, I have my list, but that doesn't mean it goes by my list. That's
Right.
just
I'll bet you don't lose your lists. People tell me, "Oh, make a list." So I write a list, and then I lose it.
Oh,
No,
I'm
mine's
in
in
the
a book.
Tracy camp on that one. I'm in the Tracy camp.
I don't know where I put my list. I've tried buying books, like notebooks or journals. I lose them.
Yes.
I have
Got
a
like 4 of them around here.
it's not a week in a glance, but it's like that calendar, and my list actually goes on calendar days, right?
I
So
never use it, and if I did, I'd lose it. I've tried.
No.
I'm gonna be 57 this year. I just need to become friends with the messed up, mushed up, chaotic.
I think it's the creative.
Well,
I think it's
mess
part of
that
being
is me.
creative.
I think it is too, because our couple of weeks have been kind of crazy because of just some employees being sick and some things coming in that don't normally happen. And my calendar, I do have a calendar. It's on this guy right here, right? I have it, but I always have to like sit down at the beginning of the week and kind of look through it. And we had talked, Angela, at one point about something, and I'm like, oh, that's next week. Are you kidding me? Because something happened in my little world that like totally knocked me sideways. it's something that was a meeting with a company that we're working with, and the gentleman is trying to learn our industry. And he goes, "Can I come out to your?" This is on Thursday. He's like, "Can I come out to your store on Monday?" I'm like, "But you're in New York." He's like, "Yeah, there's planes." I'm like, "But this is Omaha." So he did call back and go, "So yeah, you were kind of right. Omaha's hard to get to." And we had to reschedule it anyway. But that little thing, like for some dumb reason, it was like the little straw on the camel's back that like kind of breaks you a little bit, and then my whole world just went and like I messed up my calendar. And then
And I'm someone, I still have to have a paper calendar.
that's yeah.
I have a digital calendar, and my calendar is my desktop. Like when you look at my computer, it actually is the desktop for my computer. So I can always see my calendar and what's coming up for my showroom and stuff like that.
Might be an idea for me.
Yeah.
Instead of my pretty mountain view that I have on there from when we were in Alberta, I've got that picture of the mountains and the lake, that glacial lake. That's my desktop. That's what I look at every time I open up my laptop.
I want to go back there so bad. It's not funny. It's like,
I think we all need to go visit
Jenny
Jenny.
asked me to go out there and teach.
did they?
Oh, can I go too?
Yeah. That's what we did last time. She went with me as I went to teach. So maybe I need to go with her.
There you go.
There you go. Meet me there. We'll go axe throwing and we'll go stand in the glacial lake again.
And we did. We took our shoes off and stood in a freezing cold lake.
Yeah.
It was cold, man. I don't
cold.
know. I stood in that water, and now the big thing is these cold plunges. Everybody's dumping themselves in ice every morning. Not a freaking chance, man. I'm a weenie.
Yeah.
I'm a weak weenie person.
I
Don't
won't be
make
doing a
any
polar
difference.
plunge.
I'm
Yeah,
not
no.
getting in a polar plunge. That my feet were frozen. Jenny's like, "No, wait, don't get out. I want to take your picture."
We did. We both ran in and we're like, what are we doing?
Jenny and ice, girl.
Right. Yeah. Glacier is that there's a reason it's called glacier.
It's-
I didn't know that at the
There
time,
was-
though. I just thought, oh,
but there was
it's a
still
lake. I'm
snow
going
on
to
the
stand in
mountain.
there and pull some of the energy from the water and the mountains and everything. And it was like,
okay. So I don't know what the two of us were thinking. There was still snow on the tops of those mountains.
Yeah.
There was no doubt. It was melting into that lake still.
It was May. It was only May.
It was
That's
it
true.
was. It was the
Yeah.
last
It was
week of
May.
May.
The water was cold.
Well, and it can still snow in May.
It can there
Yeah.
for sure.
Right.
So yeah,
Hey.
it was a great trip.
It was.
So
I'm sorry. I didn't mean to interrupt. I didn't mean to go,
Okay.
but okay, sorry. Ooh. But my husband and I laugh a little bit. 'Cause
Class, pay attention.
he's a little he took the Franklin Covey lectures when they first came out. Remember Franklin Covey?
yeah,
Okay.
I'm not that bad, guys.
Okay. My husband is. Okay, my husband is. And it's funny, one of my son-in-law, my daughter married her daddy. One of my son-in-laws the same way. And they hate to have several meetings in a day. They're like, "Oh, meetings. Oh, too many people." And I'm like, "Really?" I'm like the best when we have like a sale going on and there's a class over there and we got the machine sales and like I'm tasked this way and I'm tasked this way. And like, that's like one of my best days ever. Everybody's like, "You're weird." So I feel like that's where, but the coming home and focusing in on that calendar helps me as a business person to see what my future holds. Now, granted, it's movable. And it's good having a movable calendar on the things that can be moved than some other things that cannot.
For sure.
Right?
Yeah. I think you have to be flexible. And I think that's what the theme is for all of us, is that no matter how much you plan and how much you think you know what you're going to do, in the end, you have to be flexible enough to change your plans to be able to get stuff done. If I just went off of what my to-do list was, nothing would ever get done. Right?
Right.
Because, I think, next week I'm going to order thread. Well, I ran out of thread yesterday, so I have to order thread. You know what I'm saying? You have to go with the flow a little bit. And if you're going to run a business, you got to get used to that.
And sometimes it's good to plan less. So if you have that, because we're all big-hearted quilters, and I have that customer that comes in and says, I know I didn't plan, but could you by next week? You know what I'm trying to say? I mean, that happens though, right?
Don't call me. Don't call me. No.
It happens. I go through my days very reactionary, which is not good. And I've done my best to, okay, from when I go into the shop today, from this time to this time, I'm going to do this. From this time to this time, I'm going to do this. But I'm the only one here. So if a customer calls me and they're having machine issues, I drop everything I'm doing and I deal with them.
Mhm.
Or, someone comes in or whatever, and then I realize at the end of the day, oh, I never got that done. But I also, because I'm on my own, I don't have the luxury of blocking time and just being able to just do this. I don't even know that my brain will allow me to do that. Although I did really well when I had to get all those handouts done.
Mm-hmm.
I found by, okay, you're going to do this until this time. But then, see, the problem is, because that's a creative thing as well, right? Because I'm drawing designs and I'm doing all that kind of stuff. When you're in it, you're in it.
Mm-hmm.
So don't bug me when I'm in it. But I wasn't even open yet at that point. Like, you know what I mean? So I could do that.
Mm-hmm.
But I sometimes wonder, for me personally, I think I'm somewhat addicted somehow to chaos. Like
Yes.
I don't feel like I don't know what it's like to be bored. I just don't, because my brain doesn't ever stop. Right. But when I'm in that, I had to get those handouts written and I'm moving the shop. My focus was to get out of the other place in time. I did that. And then, it was going to all be great. And then I realized about the handouts and then that became a thing. But it was, I don't know. I find comfort in the eye of the storm.
Yes.
Man, that's profound, is it not? I never thought about it like that. But I seem to be calmest when my whole life is blowing up.
Mm-hmm.
And there's chaos. And I'm in the middle of the chaos and I am the chaos. But that somehow soothes me. That's probably some kind of trauma response or something from
I think you just probably nailed. I think you just probably nailed it for every entrepreneur. You just did entrepreneurship right there.
We have to have the storm.
Yeah.
There has to be a storm. Yeah.
And I think if you accept it and say, there's always going to be a storm, right? That you can be calm in it.
These are my monkeys and this is my circus.
Yep. And sometimes they make me smile and sometimes they make me cry.
Well, that's what happens to me. I'll be driving home in the truck or driving to work in the truck. And that's when I get most of my ideas. But that's also when when things come to me that I'm not expecting. So I cry a lot in my truck while I'm driving. Like, just things will just hit me. And I just burst into tears, sob. Sometimes I've had to pull over just so I can pull myself together. But when I'm in the middle of, I gotta do this, I gotta do that, that's here. Even if people want to help, I'm like, you can't help. You can't help. Thank you, but you can't help me. I can't. Nobody can do this right now. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I think somehow I need that. As much as when I'm in it, I think, oh my God, I just want to go away for a few days and unplug and not have to talk to anybody or do anything or be anything for anybody. I'd be lost within 20 minutes.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
You know?
Yes, I do know. Very much so. I'm with you.
And as soon as I'm down, physically or whatever, like when I had my surgery, don't do this for 2 weeks. Don't do that for 3 weeks. Don't lift more than 10 pounds for 6 weeks. I'm like, I have to go grocery shopping.
Right.
Like, I'm on day 3, right? I'm not taking any of the drugs they gave me because it's too much. They gave me Dilaudid, which was, liquor. I'm not taking that. I got to go grocery shopping. When can I drive? When can I drive? It's okay. I'll get somebody to drive me, Day 3, I had my oldest son drive me to the grocery store. But I just had to do things. I can't just lay there.
Yeah.
Right?
That's
But my problem wasn't walking. That was different. So
Yeah.
with my surgery, I didn't have a mobility issue. I was
Right.
sore, but I could walk.
That has been the hardest part about this one because, the surgery that I had early in my career, I was technically not supposed to push a shopping cart, right?
Right.
But I did. I mean, I went out and I did shopping and I did, things I had to do. This one, completely different.
That's different.
I will say I take great pride. Last Thursday, Matt helped me up the 2 steps to get into the car. He took my scooter away, let me drive all by myself. Oh my God, I was so excited.
Took your scooter away? That's just mean. Matt, that's mean.
Well, because I can't get the scooter out of the car by myself.
Right.
So, because I have to hop all the way to the back of the car to do it.
That's not safe.
No, it's just not a smart move for me to make right now. I could physically, I think I could probably do it, but it's not the smart thing because if I put my foot down, it could be 10 weeks non-weight bearing. So let's just let this heal the way it needs to so that I can go on with my life at this point. But I drove to CVS, went through the drive-through because I didn't have my scooter with me, picked up my prescription, and came home. Perfect. And you would have thought
and that probably did you a world of good emotionally that you just got to get out of the house, right?
So, and it's little things like, like Matt went to get his hair cut. I've known his barber for years, and when my hair was really short, she did my hair too. She doesn't want to do long hair, which I get, right? But we've known this lady for probably over 20 years at this point. And I'm sitting in the car because I just rode with Matt because I needed to get outside of this house or I was going to peel the walls down, guys. Mm-hmm. And she walked out and said, "We're going to get you on your scooter. You're going to come in. I'm going to wash and dry your hair." I cried. I'm like, seriously, these things that you just never think about, right? Mm-hmm. So it's in a completely different situation. But I mean, you have to try to do what your doctor's asking you to do, or especially in this case, there could be long-term consequences that I don't want to deal with. Like, I don't want to be off this foot any longer than I have to.
And your situation is completely different because I was still able to walk. Like I had that. It wasn't, I didn't have any foot surgery. So that's different. You have no choice. You have to stay there with your foot the way it is, right?
Half the time you guys have both talked to me. I'm sitting on my bed talking to them with a desk that's, like a lap desk thing. And you can tell I'm laying on my bed, but my foot has to be above my heart for most of the day. So to keep the swelling down. And like right now I can feel it swelling. So I'll go and put my foot back up high again until the cast comes off. And it will come off next Tuesday, right? So a week from when we're filming this, my cast will come off. I just don't know if it's going to go right back on again or not.
Right.
I can hope.
You don't know until they take it off and they look, right?
Right, because I'm still sutured on the back of my heel. So I can't put shoes on until the sutures come out.
Right.
No.
So once we have all of this chaos, like all of us have had, and we're getting back into our groove and getting our mojo back on, what would you guys suggest when you're trying to get your quilting, like your free motion or your quilting mojo back on? Would you like for me, free motion, let's start with that one first. What would you guys suggest?
So first of all, I'm like Tracy. I set a time for myself. So I'm not going to go and say I'm going to free motion quilt for an entire day after not being able to stand for 6 weeks.
Right.
First of all. Second of all, I'm going to give myself a time period. It's probably going to be pretty short to start out with, like 15, 30 minutes. That's what I'm going to try to do that day to get myself back into my creative space. And unless it's a quilt for me personally that I don't really care about, I'm going to be on practice cloth to start out with.
Oh, for sure.
So, I mean, I have quilts that I'm going to donate and stuff that even on my worst day, they're going to be okay to donate. I mean, if you've been doing this for a while, your skills are to the point that even on a bad day, you're better than a beginner. Does that make sense? So, I might quilt like a donation quilt, but I'm not going to quilt somebody's heirloom quilt on the first day back from surgery, my first day. And then I'm going to be patient with myself. So like when I was doing this and I was quilting out of my basement, and that was emergency surgery, from the time I was diagnosed to surgery was 9 days. Okay. And then I was gone for 6 weeks. And I was in complete turmoil for those 9 days. So everything crashed to a stop. And I started calling people saying, I don't even know when I'm coming back. Right.
Right.
So, but I was very honest with my customers and said, okay, I am going back to quilting. I've been given the all clear and you're in line, but it could take me, several months to get your quilt done, even though you're only, 2 weeks into my line, because I'm going to have to give myself time because I don't know how I'm going to react to things at this point. Right. Mm-hmm. And I don't know how my mojo is going to be, because it's important for you to be back into that creative, wanting to quilt spirit. Like when I'm free motion quilting on a regular basis, it's what brings me joy. So I want to be doing it. If I don't feel like I want to be doing it, it doesn't tend to go well.
Right. Right.
It has the complete opposite effect if you're doing it because you feel like you
have to.
Because then it's not because it's flowing.
So I would say schedule yourself some time to practice and play, and then schedule your time self to do other things that are not creative. If I was doing computer work, like not free motion, I don't have to be on my feet the whole time. Right. So I can jump back into that a lot quicker.
That's almost sometimes the easiest to do first. Just also to me, the sound of the machine and getting back into that rhythm of my little dance with the machine. It's a little bit easier having the computer help me along and then move on to the other.
Right. Well, hearing the machine move and make it sounds that it's supposed to make, makes me happy and makes me want to quilt with it. Right. So it's relaxing because it's, that's a normal sound for us.
Do you think that's our white noise?
In a way, I do think it is my white noise. I don't know about Tracy, but I can design stuff like if I'm drawing pantographs or whatever I'm doing, very creative things, I tend to do better with the machine running.
I just think I love the sound. I did a video. I posted it on Facebook or wherever. I posted it last week. I had 2 ladies here renting time on the machines, and Quilt Path was working on a 3rd machine, and it just oh
yes.
And I think that's one of the things I love most when I get on a machine and I take my stitch regulator off and I just dance around and create whatever's coming, whatever comes out while I'm mucking around. That sound, I don't need anything. I don't need an audiobook. I don't need music. I don't need anything. That is my music. The sound of that machine and watching all that pretty thread make beautiful shapes on my fabric just makes me happy.
I came in on Sunday to work on a quilt when nobody's here at the store because the store is closed on Sunday. And I like coming in and it's just me in the store. There's something magical about walking in the morning and having all of I feel like the fabric is standing at attention, quiet, guarding, whatever you want to say, kind of like this little forest of fabric or whatever out there. And walking in and having that, before the hustle and bustle, and I just got back from a family vacation and there's something soothing in my soul. And I don't know, of having all of my chickadees, all of my kids and all of my grandkids under one roof. There's something where I fall asleep that much faster with everybody around me. So the same with the machines brings me pure joy when I'm here by myself. So it's really not working on Sunday.
Right. Well, and you're there because you've chosen to do that day. It's not that you have to go because you're open. You went there because you wanted to go there.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, I do have some timelines, but yes, there's a little bit of pressure. But I mean, it's pressure brought on by me going, oh, okay, I'll do that for you. Okay. It's self-inflicted again, right? With all of us, what we do. Yeah. It's perfect. But
It's
do you think
different when you're in there alone and you know nobody's coming? Like nobody's going to walk in the door because you're not open that day. So you will be there uninterrupted. And you can do whatever you want. You can put the music on loud if you want. You can not have it on if you want. You can quilt. You can sit on the floor with your pencil crayons and color if you like. I've done that.
Yes.
Sat right on the floor, got out my pencil crayons and just colored for an hour.
There you go.
Till my hips hurt. Then I get up.
I was like, she's sitting on the floor. That's amazing.
I know.
Oh, I sit on the floor. Yeah.
We're all getting older. Ooh,
I'll get back there again.
Yeah.
Well, just basically when your life throws you curves, just to take it in stride, right? If we're going to recap everything, take it in stride, move forward, control your chaos, and keep going.
Well, we don't have a choice, and it will end, or it will, what's that term? This too shall pass.
Yes.
Right? I mean, there were a lot of those days where I was posting happy things on Facebook about, look at the new space. I cried all the way home. What have I done? What am I doing? I'm never going to get it all done.
Right.
Well, you know, I cried when I moved my showroom. I cried on the phone with Tracy. I was like, what the did I do?
No.
We moved the whole store, 5 like what Tracy just did, plus 4,000 bolts of fabric, plus it was
you win. I don't have that much stuff.
No winning. There's no winning in this.
I don't think there's winning in this.
No, there's no winning, Tracy. We're just both probably sisterhood-ish on the chaos.
Oh, for sure.
And here's the thing. Sure. One of us will move again. It's going to happen.
It won't be me.
I don't think it's going to be Kathy.
Oh, well, there we go. It better not be me.
I still have a couple years on my lease because I renewed it last year. But I'm, coveting more space at this point.
Sure. I told all of our customers on a live one time, if you see Kathy exiting stage left, you know that we're upgrading a new point of sale system. So beware. Because I'm not going to do that again, I don't think. But I probably will.
Yeah. Well, you just have to, things change. Things evolve. And
right. We've all been.
And you just have to go with it because you don't really have much choice. It's going to happen.
It's going to happen. And it's better to go with the flow and let it happen and deal with it when it's happening than try to stop it from happening. Because at that point, you're fighting nature, right? And you're going to deal with it longer. You're going to deal with it. So.
Right.
I'm really grateful too, because everybody that's come in the last few weeks, because I did take off for my 5-day motorcycle trip.
She did.
Because it was already booked and I desperately needed to so I was closed for a little bit, but everybody that's come in, they come in and they smile. They're like, oh, this is the best place ever. It's the best space. Like just its shape and its size and its length. I got 3 beautiful windows, but it's not all windows. You know what I mean? It just has a really good vibe. And everybody's been really happy, and that makes me feel good too,
Isn't it great when somebody says they like your store? Yeah.
Yeah. And I mean, it's not even done yet. There's not one quilt on the wall, but it doesn't matter because the machines are here. They're running. The quilts are piled. Bless his heart. Lenny is doing his best treadmill impersonation by holding all the quilts. I don't have clothes hanging on him, but he's holding an awful lot of quilts. I have way more samples than I thought I did.
And that another thing
while I moved. I found a ton of stuff I didn't know I had. Well, a ton of stuff that I quilted that I forgot I quilted.
So you can change stuff up and have different things.
Right?
Yeah.
I found stuff, I pulled it out of a box. I'm like, oh my gosh, I remember quilting that. I've been for like 4 years.
That's the good thing about moving. It brings it all out.
Stuff pretty darn good. You should hang that
You also-
somewhere.
The best thing about moving is you clean stuff out.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yes.
I found a lot of samples, so it's gonna look nice. It's gonna look different in here because
Good.
there's a bunch of stuff that's been in boxes clearly for a very long time. Not boxes, bins.
Yeah.
So with that, we can't wait to see pictures of your new place with quilts. We've seen
When you're ready.
when you're ready. Yeah,
Yeah.
when you're ready.
Mhm.
Right. We're gonna get our little situation and get everybody healthy. Get everybody
Good.
back here rolling. And
That's
you're gonna get
good.
healthy.
I'm going to mend and it's all going to be good. That's right.
And we've been talking and we have had some business meetings. So there's going to be some great things that will be coming.
Mm-hmm.
So,
September's gonna be a good month.
yes, that's why just to,
September, October.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's good to regroup sometimes. Sometimes you need chaos to regroup.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I
So,
agree.
well, ladies, we're at a good mark to stop probably. And it was
Sounds
been
good. I think Angela needs to raise her foot.
yes, she does. I'm thinking
Oh, get it up in the air. I'm like, you want me to show people my foot? My foot was pretty
No,
bad.
we need to wrap
I
it up
need to
so
get
that
it
you
up
can
in
go
the
and
air.
elevate your foot. I'm sorry, I used the wrong word. Angela should get to elevate her foot now.
You don't want to see my foot. My foot is not pretty. Right? It is lime green because I asked on Facebook what color you would make your cast. I already had my cast at that point.
I picked lime green. Surprise.
Yeah, you did. My sister did. My best
Purple.
friend said APQS blue. I'm like you've known me since she was my roommate in college. She has known me forever and said APQS blue. I was like, I do like royal blue. I'm just saying. And she asked me, well, what color would mine be? And I was either pink or purple. I was like, but I would say flamingo pink, but I think it would be purple. And she was like, it would be purple. Oh my word. Like she like blue?
You're like, and you picked blue? Knowing you didn't pick lime green?
They had like really bright green. I went with the bright green. It was that, and it was that or orange, guys. I was like, if you're gonna have it on, you gotta see it.
Absolutely. I love orange too. I love orange, but
Right.
I would have chosen lime green as well.
I think orange is the underrated color.
Yeah. And I
Orange.
like purple too. I think
awesome.
Kathy would have chosen purple.
Oh, I don't. Yeah. Hello. Well,
Hello.
I got blue on for the road show tomorrow.
Yeah. If you're in Omaha, there's a road show tomorrow. Yeah. But you won't see this until after then. So it's
yeah.
okay. It's okay.
No.
Null and void.
I have a road show in September
Yeah.
on the 9th.
I have one the end of August. So yeah.
There you go.
So if you're in
Good.
North Carolina, the end of August, I have a road show. If you are in Canada, she's in the Ontario region. Tracy has a
Ottawa,
road show.
Ontario. I'll narrow it down just a little bit because our country is a little bit
It's
bigger
big.
than Angela made it out to be.
Well, it's huge.
Huge.
Just outside of Toronto.
Just call her
Actually,
if you're in
just
Canada. She'll take
east
care of you.
Toronto by not much, but 20 minutes east of Toronto. So
You'll
Isn't that
take care of them no
amazing?
matter where they are. I know that.
yeah, I know.
It's amazing that I grew up in Colorado in the Western states, and people out west don't realize how small the Eastern states are. The people out east don't realize how big the Western states are. And then I get somebody from Europe, and like one of the things they were teasing us about is having a big cup holder in our van. And I'm like, but do you realize how big our whole nation is compared to?
So do you know that North Carolina and Great Britain are the same size?
Well, that's because Great Britain's an island
Island.
and it's very small.
But it is small.
It is small.
But people from Great Britain don't think it's small. And then they talk about how the US and they can't envision how big it is. I was like, well, look at the US map and look at North Carolina. We're the same size as Great Britain.
And Canada is just
And
as
we're a small
long
state.
and just as tall as the United
I
States.
think square mileage, Canada may actually have more square miles than the US.
But everything fits in Texas. So nothing's bigger than Texas, just saying.
Everything's bigger than Texas.
Everything's big in Texas. Is that what you said?
Everything's bigger in Texas.
Oh, bigger in Texas. I
Yeah.
taught classes in Texas once. I had a great time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I
was
just sent
teaching in
my
Texas.
son-in-law, my daughter and my son-in-law live down there, and I sent him this meme that says everything is not as big as Texas. I mean, everything fits inside Texas. It had the United States inside Texas. It had the moon inside Texas, and it had another Texas inside Texas. Making fun of itself. And so that's what I said. So everything is not big as Texas, because Texas is, don't mess with Texas, because, it's Texas.
It's Texas.
I had so much fun when I went there. I taught at 2 different shops down there, or down, I guess down. Yeah, down there.
I can't remember if you did that right before or right after I did. I know we both did it.
It was in 2016, because I opened my shop in 2015 in December. And in January, I was in Texas.
So yeah, I would have followed you in February of that year.
Yeah, it was beautiful. I couldn't believe, this is what a hick I am. I don't travel. I don't go anywhere. I don't travel the world. I've been to England a bunch of times because that's where we're from. But I couldn't believe how warm it was. It was January and I was wearing a t-shirt. I know that sounds so silly, but I guess for people who travel, they're used to being warm at weird times. But I'm Canadian, and it was January, and I was wearing a t-shirt outside, and it was beautiful.
Right.
You know what I mean? So yeah, it was lovely, and the people were lovely. The ladies that hosted me at their shops couldn't have been more wonderful, and I still to this day I love them all, all 3 of them, and nobody could have been nicer.
Right.
Yeah. And here's the thing, I don't know that most people know, is that ABQ West reps all know each other. And I know she was at two of our showrooms. And I actually think I went the year before you did, because when I'm thinking about it, when my showroom opened, I opened in 2014. So I would have been January or February of 2015 that I went out.
You were
and
there.
Then you went out, and then I went out again. But so we all know each other, and we actually like each other. I mean, we have really good relationships with our competition, because other showrooms are our competition. And it's cool. It's a cool situation to be in.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was good. Anyway, sorry, I derailed us and sent us all down another rabbit hole.
Is that
You're
right?
welcome.
You're welcome.
Welcome to the 3 Quirky Quilters. You never know what you're going to get.
Merry Christmas, y'all.
With that, we'll say goodnight.
Don't forget to like, subscribe,
Oh, yeah,
and comment.
it's free. Talk to us.
Yes.
Talk to us.
Or maybe not. Bye, guys.
Bye, everyone.